Mercury retrogrades are essential astrological events that are often misunderstood or ignored because of how common they are, or due to repeated references to travel plans and communication as the main theme of these retrogrades. This highly undermines the importance of the information and wisdom that each retrograde has to offer, because Mercury represents our minds, the stunning instrument through which we perceive and manipulate reality. As Mercury is the fastest moving planet, we experience his retrogrades 3 to 4 times a year, rightfully so, because our minds need regular updating and upgrading to ensure that we're operating from an optimal perspective with optimal intentions. This final retrograde of the year begins on the 13th of December 2023 and ends on the 2nd of January 2024, traveling between 8 degrees 29 minutes of Capricorn and 22 degrees 10 minutes of Sagittarius. Whichever house or houses these degrees of these signs in our charts cover, including other natal placements there, and any aspects these points might be making to other parts of the chart, is what is being reviewed at this time. If Mercury is significant in your chart, or the sign axes of Capricorn-Cancer and Sagittarius-Gemini are, then it'll be more prominently experienced. If you were born during a Mercury retrograde, then these areas may accelerate in performance or activity, providing easeful and clear direction. Every transit is simply information coming through, and during retrogrades, we're receiving data that serves to redirect, reassess, and reveal to us what previously has not been clarified. This is especially the case with Mercury, who represents the conscious mind, which gathers data and processes it in order to make sense of perceived reality. From this point, we then respond to this information, making choices, taking action, or perhaps refraining from doing so. However, when Mercury retrogrades, our logical, rational, analytical left brain function is often dulled intentionally, giving us adequate periods of time throughout the year to tap into our intuitive intelligence, our right brain activity, which is far more capable, interesting, wise, and naturally connected to a much vaster network of information through the energetic matrix of our reality. Mercury is movement through the medium of air or the ethers. Therefore, communication and travel are under his jurisdiction. When the management areas of our brain, as well as these areas in the public sphere, are not the priority function, like during these retrogrades, misunderstandings, delays, and confusion can occur, but there are no mistakes. This is key to understanding the design of all that happens. Every seeming mishap holds something precious for us to receive if we pay attention to the deeper processes at play. We make only a small percentage of our choices consciously. Most of our thoughts, choices, habits, and tendencies are subconscious, and these supposed retrograde mishaps are a gateway to understanding the subconscious and our true vibrational patterns, our true intentions, which are often overlaid by what we believe to be true through conscious thoughts and decisions. The subconscious always manifests what we truly perceive and believe reality to be, and what it has accepted as true of our intentions. So if things seem to go wrong during this time, what is it actually about? Were we trying to avoid something? Were we doing something that we would prefer not to be engaged in? Were we suppressing something that was finally released? Were we forcing something to happen that we intuitively knew was not ideal? These demonstrations of subconscious activity that often surface during these retrogrades give us ample opportunity to acknowledge what is really going on within our mental kingdoms, and to make the adjustments and changes necessary to create a path of more coherence, ease, and joy from here on out in whichever areas of our lives are being highlighted at this time. Intuitive knowing, more creative thinking, inspirational ideas, and more feeling-based decision-making is the gift of Mercury retrogrades. Since we live in a society that is utterly left-brain dependent, and the undeniable imbalance between the use of both sides of the brain, and more importantly, the right brain's inherent connection to the physical and emotional bodies, instead of feeling relieved to give the analytical mind and busy bustling life a break, and to enjoy the more magical path that opens up to us during these retrogrades, many of us feel puzzled and frustrated. This comes from the misunderstanding that life is intended to continue as scheduled regardless of season and cycle, which is an unnatural approach to living. A Mercury retrograde is absolutely a time to slow down, and most often those mishaps that happen are pointing to that need quite clearly. Was this journey absolutely necessary? Was this way of communicating or the timing of it absolutely necessary? Was the way something was planned ideal? Could we have spent more time before embarking on something, or taken more time to do something with greater comfort, greater inspiration, greater care? Mercury is retrograding through both Capricorn and Sagittarius just as we end this year and enter the next, which is a wonderful way to gain some much needed clarity on how we express these parts of our charts as we prepare ourselves for the new. Capricorn in part represents giving structure, form, and legacy to the exploratory, inspirational, purpose-filled energy Sagittarius has to offer. As we imbue meaning to our experiences with Sagittarius and feel the need to share what we have received through those experiences, the learning and the broadening of our perspectives on reality, as we follow our drive to knowing and embracing more of what life has to offer, and that burgeoning energy of generosity, faith, and adventure spills out of us, Capricorn shapes all of this into tangible reality. We contribute to the security, stability, and endurance of something through Capricorn, through a goal-oriented efficiency that also emanates from a powerful natural drive. Capricorn is most often forgotten as passionate and feminine, as it has been relegated to the tedious definitions of its expression from the industrial era onwards. Capricorn is much more than hierarchy, dry ambition, worn-out traditions, and rigid positions of power, although these aspects can't be discarded as present in the corrupted form of Capricorn's energy. This comes from the fear-based response to the axis of Cancer and Capricorn, which is one of safety and security. This is ideally expressed through a tender form of care, which is for the purpose of nurturing, sustaining, and protecting whatever we consider holding life force energy until its growth is complete and stabilized, and then ensuring that this creation continues for as long as is ideal and natural. So when Mercury is retrograding in this sign, we're being asked to look at what we've been working on giving form to, creating security around, and what we've been trying to achieve for long-term purposes. Because Capricorn has this tendency of rigidity, it's a great time to see where we might be unwilling to rethink things or open up to a newer perspective on these matters. Capricorn will prefer to tread the well-worn path, which leads to results, or even if the results aren't there, it's very often unwilling to try a new mode of operation without assurance of results. This tendency towards controlling the situation is interesting because underneath it all, Capricorn has an inherent need to lose control, to unleash its dark, sensual, feminine force. This retrograde can bring light to these more hidden sides of Capricorn within our minds, which can come through in how we judge others for these types of energetic expressions, or simply by taking the time to see what kinds of thoughts, desires, and needs we may be suppressing or denying in the name of social norms or self-imposed concepts of respectability and authority. Sagittarius also has a tendency to stick to its perspective, its beliefs and ideologies. It can be overtly assured in its righteousness, and express a form of moral indignation towards the perspective of others. Sagittarius can be unwilling to give up what it believes to be the truth, holding on to a type of faith that is its own form of security. And this too will come under question now as Mercury dips back into Sagittarius. What modes of thinking and believing have been on a loop now for a while and need to be broken in order to truly step into the next adventure? Mercury is also the magic of the spoken and written word, and these two gifts to humans, mind and speech, are Mercury, or his more ancient form, Thoth. Any form of energetic expression through words holds the capacity to alter reality, as their vibrations emanate from our throats into the ethers, sound being what shapes energy into form, spoken manifestation. During a retrograde, rethinking how we use words, for what purpose, their meanings and intentions, is one of the most powerful ways to harness the season's energy and recreate life as one desires. Throughout his journey, Mercury in Capricorn will be sextiling Saturn in Pisces and trining Lilith in Virgo and Jupiter in Taurus, which are lovely aspects that are supportive of our creative journeys towards abundance, based on inspired vision and a newfound freedom in how we apply our skills and our efforts, as well as operating from new understanding about the importance of our holistic health. All this help will come through the form of new or improved ideas that can accelerate our movement through life with our goals in mind. The trines being in earth signs, the results are materialized through what we come to realize through the mind's eye, which is what we love to experience as worldly beings. Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, sextiling Mercury at this time, lends a tremendous strength to what we're gaining insight into, and provides us with direction and design to whatever we're intending to manifest. Once Mercury is traveling back through Sagittarius, he conjuncts Mars and squares Neptune in Pisces for the second time of 3 times as he moves back and forth through these signs. We already experienced this once. Mars provides great focus, desire, and drive to this part of our chart now, and retrograding Mercury together with him invites us to lean into the intuitive intelligence and instinct of Sagittarius fire, allowing energy to strike us in a way that fuels our choices ahead through sheer power and assuredness of our purpose, while simultaneously maintaining a mature and adaptive perspective on how we approach everything, to ensure we're not simply stretching ourselves out and taking leaps without consideration of what we might be hitting, where we might be landing. The square to Neptune is the most significant aspect Mercury makes because Neptune is a slow-moving planet in its sign of rulership, Pisces. Neptune is at the later degrees of this sign. Wherever he's been in our charts, he's been for a good number of years now and has been in the process of dissolving what is not ideal within us in relation to collective consciousness and making way for the elevation of our vibration, the expansion of our individual consciousness in order to connect with the whole from a far more loving, creative, non-judgmental, healing, and blissful place. It is this energy that is calling to Mercury now, to our conscious minds, to understand which belief systems and perspectives that we may have previously been absolutely sure served us or society no longer suffice. Because it is time to expand even further. It is time to make choices and hold visions that go beyond what we thought was enough for our individual existences, because there is no separate self having its own separate adventures. We are all inextricably intertwined in the great ocean that is life, and all our thought energy, whatever its quality, is pooled with the collective. How can we best serve collective consciousness? By transforming ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings, our energetic fields into truly powerful vibrations that cleanse, heal, inspire, inform, uplift, share, nurture, and forgive. We make these choices through what Mercury, our conscious mind, recognizes and realizes, and there is no better time for this loving magic to happen than during a Mercury retrograde.